Hi Adrian,
Hi.
how are you?
Good. Good
Thank
to
you
see
so much for coming to be interviewed by me today. I know that you've got your book there that you want to talk about, and you also work with clients, so you do coaching.
I do, yes.
I think the topic of this, we're talking about bringing ourselves into alignment, and I know that you help your clients do that. So
Certainly.
how do you do that? How do you bring yourself into alignment? When you're in business, it's going crazy,
Okay.
there's a million things to do.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
So I start with a fundamental question of, where am I right now? Physically, emotionally, mentally and spiritually. And I find by asking that question, it gives us a foundation, gives us an anchor point, and gives us something to work from. So if I'm in my business, I'm working away, and it's midday, and I can say, where am I right now? Physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. I can get a sense of where I am, and then I can change that alignment to whatever my vision is. So I've got a vision of my business, where it's going, and if I'm out of alignment, I can make that choice in that moment by practicing the where am I right now process on the hour, every day. And when that's practiced, there is a sense of just keeping in alignment. I will say, at least if you do it on the hour, for 2 minutes on the hour, every hour, you're in alignment.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not for the other 58 minutes,
Yeah.
but at least you could say, oh, for 2 minutes every hour, I'm in alignment with my business. And then after a while, it just becomes more natural.
It becomes a habit.
Yeah, it becomes a good habit rather than the bad habits.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it might be good to just set an alarm or something, because for somebody like me, I get so immersed into what I'm doing that sometimes, not anymore, but I used to forget to eat. I used to have to actually put in my diary, my phone, time to eat, so I forget. So, and I'm sure there's many people like that out there that are just really, really rushed. So to just set your alarm, to have that intention would be a good thing.
Actually, I write about that in the book, and I say, set your clock or your alarm on the hour every hour. You're allowed to sleep, so it doesn't have to be at night. It can just be during the day.
Oh, that's nice.
And then just beep beep, and when you hear that, you just bring yourself back into alignment. Where am I right now, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually? And I say, you put on the cape, put the underpants on the outside of the trousers, jump back in, become Superman. And in that moment, you can do that alignment. You may have to make another phone call to fix something up. You may have to have a conversation with somebody. You may have to rewrite something you've written. You may have to go back through your financial statements. You may have to do something to rehash or redo to bring yourself back in again. And it's just in that moment we can become more conscious and make that choice. So I call it the choice maker. We can bring the choice maker in more often by doing the process of the where am I right now. So it's pretty exciting. I've had hundreds and hundreds of clients who've done this, and the results, even just, I say, challenge for 7 days is to do the process, from say 7 a.m. in the morning till 7 p.m. at night, and it's life changing. It really is.
I can imagine, because it doesn't take long to form a good habit, does it?
No,
so
3 days.
You would also 3 days.
Okay.
So after that, you'd feel yourself getting out of alignment.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's what I'm doing. It's all back in again. Back in again.
It's about awareness, isn't it?
Totally. And I find with a lot of people in small business, it's quite stressful. And people get
because you're doing everything, especially at the beginning when you can't afford to pay anybody else.
We do the filming, and we do everything.
We're in the back of the camera and the front of the camera.
So we do, and can become a stress. And if we don't remember to do a meditation, if we don't remember to be on a good diet, if we don't remember to do the exercise or the yoga or the swimming, and it's easy not to do them because the business can take over, and then we get out of alignment. And quite often in the new age industry, for want of a better word, people are sharing and explaining and telling their clients to do the very things they're not doing themselves. So there's a sense of being out of alignment with our clients as well. So it's about being a bit cautious of what we do. And I will say, how much are you walking the talk, and how much are you playing life? So if you're walking the talk at 60%, you're probably going to get clients who are less than that. And if you really want some sort of high-end clients who aren't afraid to spend money or to spend time and energy with you, then you're going to have to vibrate and act and be around about 70 or 80 or 90% in life, and then you'll get those clients that accordingly will come up. Because if you're getting clients who are quite low energy and haven't got much energy or much money or so, they're the clients you attract. And then the new edges, so there's nobody out there that make money, and the story comes in. So I've said if we raise our vibration, then we attract clients who are willing to do the work and willing to pay the money to keep us in this industry. Because it's not an easy industry to stay in sometimes for a lot of people.
Well, you know what, I've got an interesting story for you about that. Facebook pops up the past year, like your memories.
Yeah.
This time last year, yesterday, I wrote a letter to my community saying I can't do it anymore. I'm not looking after myself. I can't hold the energy for anybody else. I've been doing this for 5 years. I was ready to walk away from my business.
Yeah, right.
I interviewed one of the ladies that now writes for the magazine, and she helps support people. She talks about having a great 8 around you, support. And it was then I did the interview with her, and I said to her, look, I wanted to keep my word. I'll do the interview with you, and I'll put it out towards the social media, but I'm giving up and I'm going back to England. I had a lot of emotional stuff going on as well, and I felt like a very big hypocrite because I was telling people to do all this stuff and I wasn't looking after myself. I was overworking, I wasn't eating, I was overtraining. Everything that I tell people, you know, that's really bad for you, I was doing. So I had to go back to the UK this year, and I took time off, and with the intention of I'd come back to Global Healing Exchange if it was meant to happen. And in that time, this amazing magazine's come out of that. So it was, February now? So February was the day I said no more. 15th of March last year, I brought out my first magazine. Now we've got 30 practitioners that write for us. We've got a membership program just opening up. And it was because I went back into myself with the intention of healing myself. And now I've got amazingly high vibrational experts, which is amazing. So it can be done. And before I just didn't have the energy to give to anybody. And unless you look after yourself, you know, you're always going to attract those people, which is what you were saying.
Always, yeah. Look, and you know, I've coached many people over the years, and people come in and they say, "Oh, I'm not quite sure what to do," and then once we get the strategy in place for them, you know, the real basics to begin with, and the biggest basic is to bring yourself into alignment. I just picked up a coach now, a young man. He's I think he's about 37, and he wants to do push therapy work, and I've already coached somebody in that work. So this is my second one because I do the coach. The push therapy myself, so I've got a lot of information and experience in that. And this young man, the first thing I'm getting to do for the first 3 weeks is just to come back into alignment with self. You know, get up and do yoga, do your meditation, get everything in alignment. Don't be afraid of getting your website up. Just get one done. Yeah. You know, don't stop deliberating and prostrate.
Just do it.
Stop procrastinating. Get it up and then keep tweaking. I use this word tweaking. You know, if you're at a certain vibration, then tweak it up, tweak it up, tweak it up, tweak it up, tweak it up. Just exponentially every week or every month until you feel like you're vibrating, you know, 6.5 days a week or 7 days a week on a particular vibration. And I believe if you're going to be, you know, a leader or a coach or whatever you want to call yourself, it has to be above 70% in terms of energy, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual of vibration, and probably more. You know, 80, 85 is, I'd say, the ultimate. And, you know, trying to vibrate at 90, 95, you know, or above is pretty high end as well. But it's choice. You know, what are we choosing as coaches, as teachers, to vibrate at? You know, what did you eat yesterday? What did you eat today? You know, did you do your exercise? Did you swim? I know you had a good swim today. Me too.
So
I
lovely.
did a few laps in the pool today before I came here. So
I do 45 minutes a day. We've got an outside pool, so with the weather as it is, it's beautiful.
Yeah, well,
it's meditation.
We moved to Sydney here, you know, 3 weeks ago. I said, you know, I'm having a pool in the garden. So we have a pool. I swim every morning, and I'm up. Breakfast, swim, meditation, then I'll do my eye exercises, and then I'm ready for work. You know, so it's really, and it's a daily trip. You know, I'm not, I don't do it 100%. Some mornings it's, you know, the head and the body have an argument in bed. You know, get out of bed, no, get out of bed, no, and I give myself
we all get days like that,
So you know, but I know you know, it's 80% plus. You know, I do my walk, I do my talk, and I do. I'm on a good diet and look after myself. I'm 106. No, I'm not looking for 106.
I'm 200. You've got a long way to go.
Yeah. So it very much is about, you know, if you're going to get a coach that you know is at least walking their talk to some degree. And I say just check them out. You know, go and have a coffee with them. You know, visit their studio or their home, and sense what are they doing behind the scenes. You know, when their daily life. You know, read their Facebook posts or go to their website, talk to their friends and say, you know, is this coach doing what he or she is going to teach you or more? Because if they're not, then vibrationally you probably can not get much from your coach. Yeah,
because they can only teach you what they know or what they're doing. So it's really, really key, I think.
Yeah, absolutely key for it. Yeah, so I'd say, you know, find somebody that you really resonate with, and somebody's not afraid to challenge you. You know, it's about coaching is the challenge. You know, I say people don't have to like me if I'm their coach, but they have to get some results from my coaching. And if you give somebody an idea, make sure they follow through with the idea, and then maybe don't have a session with them again until you know they've done the homework. You know, and just keep challenging. I'm not going to see you again. I'm not going to do it. However, what's the blockage? I suppose one of my skills is the mindset skill base of, you know, what's the saboteur that's happening that's keeping you from achieving physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, financially, energetically. What is that one thing that stops one going forward? And that's not too difficult usually. Fear, doubt, or lack of self-love. It's usually one of the three keys.
It comes down to that.
Really is. There's lots of other aspects and avenues, but usually it's fear, doubt, or lack of self-love. And I can usually get to that quite quickly with my clients and go, could be a mixture, but generally it's one. And we go, okay, you've got a bit of doubt there, let's clear that up and let's bring clarity. If you have a bit of fear, let's bring some courage in. And if you have some lack of self-love, let's bring more self-love in. And that's a process over days, weeks, or months, depending on the client.
And what sort of modalities do you use for that?
Okay, so I'm a trained psychotherapist and counsellor based on Rudolf Steiner's work. Rudolf Steiner was a philosopher. He was born in 1863 and he died in 1925. So he was 100 years ago. But he was one of the foremost sort of philosophers of the time. And I've done my counselling and coaching training around Steiner's work. So very deeply soul and spiritually based. So I've been doing that for 12 years now. And I've taken more the business coaching aspect rather than the psychotherapy. Although the psychotherapy always comes in.
Well, it always does, because having a good business is part of your health, isn't it? It's a healthy life. It's part of that wheel. And if you haven't got that, then there's a part of your health that's missing.
Absolutely.
It's really, really key.
It is,
And as practitioners, I've been a health practitioner for 20 years now, and my mentality has changed around money, but I know that there's still a lot that they're in that lack mentality.
Yes.
And when you're in an abundant mentality, you know that you can refer to somebody because they will refer back, and it's that beautiful marriage of that client then gets what they want, rather than just I've got to keep that client because they are my rent for the week, or So what would you do if a practitioner was like that and they come to you? How would you get them out of that lack mentality into an abundant mentality?
Okay. So the first thing we do is get a sense of what's their comfort zone. And I'll give you a little story. There was a kinesiologist I worked in Brisbane a few months ago, and she came to see me. She was a little bit stuck in the business, and I said, how much do you charge? Well, the industry standard average for kinesiology is about $70 an hour or session. So I'm charging 70. And I said, well, you're a kinesiologist, have you muscle tested yourself? And she said, oh no. I said, well, use your tools. So we did a muscle test, and her muscle test comfort zone was $60.
Wow.
And I would say, find your comfort zone and add 10% just to stretch. So she actually set her price at 65 instead of 70, and within 3 weeks she was getting 5 or 6 clients a week.
Wow.
Just because that little tweak, because she was uncomfortable at 70. Because she was new in the industry, she was a first year, just come out of study, so she just dropped below the 70 to 65, which is a little bit more than 60. But within 2 weeks she was getting clients. And at 70 she couldn't.
It's amazing,
because
isn't it?
vibrationally she wasn't comfortable. So energetically people were feeling that from her. They were going, oh, something's not quite right here. I don't think I'll book in today. And they probably didn't know what it was subconsciously. But once she set that right and went, well, I'm 65, they went, okay. And she was getting lots of it.
Because her vibration's sure, she knows.
It
was really interesting because I did a business course 2 years ago now. And the lady who teaches it teaches people start before you're ready, big yourself up, overcharge, and you'll get clients, and that's how you make lots of money. And it was really interesting because you see all of her followers. She's quite big on the Facebook, globally. And you just see the people, and it's like, oh my God, it feels wrong, They're not successful and they're still scrambling, and it's like, you've got to be true to yourself. Isn't it better getting 5 clients at 65 than none at 70?
Absolutely,
and then as you're getting that, you're building up, you get more referrals. You've got to start where you are right now, rather than starting
Yep. Start where you are.
That you're better than.
Absolutely.
That you're comfortable with.
Yeah. So, to check in, what is the comfort zone, and then after a year or so, you reevaluate it when you do your business. Every year, you really look at the business, go, where am I going, financially as well, and you just might tweak it up. You might tweak it down. I've had times when I've gone, I'm moving from city to city. I moved from Byron Bay to Brisbane, and then Brisbane now to Sydney. So I'm reevaluating what I charge. And some people just go, I'm not paying that. And I said, well, then you're not my client.
Yeah.
I get clients, and I charge quite a lot for my service because I know the results coming.
Yeah.
And people they log in and they set in and they do their homework because they've paid me lots of money.
Yeah.
So they go, well, I better do the homework because I paid it.
Yeah.
If I charge 25 or 30 bucks an hour, they go, oh, I may do the homework or I may not. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
30 bucks.
Yeah.
So it's actually kinder to charge a little bit more, I find, in the coaching because people get more.
I totally agree. I've been doing this 20 years, and I've spent. I don't even want to know how many thousands I've spent. I could have bought a house, and it's like if I say I'm $25 an hour, it doesn't feel right. It feels I won't put that energy into the client for that. It's just then they're not getting the best of you, and it just doesn't feel right.
Yeah. So the important part in running any business is getting that vibration around the finance. Also energetically, I work in three currencies. I work in the time currency, the energy currency, and the money currency. And when I do the business plan with people, and I say, how much time and energy you put in, how much money you're putting on taking out, and let's get those three currencies in balance. And when they're in balance, it just flows. A lot of people are time rich or time poor, or energy rich or energy poor, or money time energy poor. And it's getting that balance right, and that's not really easy. But we just tweak it and tweak it and tweak it, so that people are working, the 30 or 40 hours a week, and getting their, 100,000 or 80,000, whatever, or more, whatever they want for their lifestyle, and they have the energy to do it, and they still have time to do the yoga, do the meditation, do the swimming, go surfing, go on holiday to Vanuatu or whatever. And it's important that balance. It's really, really important. And I know a lot of practitioners who are not in balance. They're burnt out.
Because as a practitioner, we want to give. And we will give to others way before we give it ourselves. And it's only when our body says, hey, you are not doing it anymore, you are taking time out. And unfortunately, we get disease in our body at that point. We get unwell. And if we can prevent clients or practitioners from getting unwell, I've done that. I've got adrenal exhaustion. I would never go to that point again because I've had it twice. So the first time it was a test. Second time it was like, oh, that can happen again. I didn't heal that, and it's like it's key to listen to. You've got to listen to your body because if you're not listening to your body, you're not getting the messages. You're not in alignment. Your soul and your body aren't connecting, so you can't help anybody else.
Absolutely, So I say, listen to yourself, but also the importance of that coach as well, of that mentor. I've got a mastermind partner. We've been masterminding for 4.5 years. So every Monday morning, generally, if we miss a couple, we just get together for 45 minutes. Either a person needs Skype or phone, and it just keeps that coaching process going every single week. We challenge each other and we listen to each other. So I highly recommend anybody in the coaching industry. I've got a friend, Andrew the Fire Coach, and Andrew the Fire Coach says every coach should have a coach. And I really highly believe that. And I've got coaches myself, and I think it's important for people in the industry, particularly the wellness industry, to get a coach to keep you fit. It's really, really important.
I agree.
Yeah.
So if somebody wanted to pick up your book, what gem are they going to find to the camera? What gem are they going to find in there? Like what will be the thing that? What would you say to urge somebody to pick it up? What they're going to get from it?
The book is a practical book, so there are exercises in the book to bring oneself into more awareness and consciousness through art, through meditation, through some games. So there's a great mix of things in here to do, and it's really about challenging oneself to step in and do something that is practical as well. A lot of people think they're going to change, but for me it's about actually doing it as well. It's okay to think you're going to meditate, and I know lots of people, yes, I meditate. I say, well, how do you meditate? What's your process? When do you do it? And after 10 minutes is usually, well, I sort of meditate. So it often goes from, I'm a meditator, well, I sort of meditate the sort of Well, I meditate occasionally.
Yeah.
So my challenge is, if you're going to meditate, meditate. If you're going to do art, do art. If you're going to do conversation, do conversation. And this book is the challenge for people to stop procrastinating, stop being lazy, and to actually get in and do and set themselves the bar. How much do you want to play life? How much do you really want to get into your business and become successful in business? Whatever success means to people. Sometimes that's financial, sometimes it's not. But it's about challenging myself to raise the bar to becoming physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually more conscious and aware. So that's the essence of the book, by following the exercises. And at the back there's a bit of a story of Adrian. It's got my biography in there, my wild youth, and how I come to become a coach. And yes, you have to read it, find the
We'll have to, I was going to say, we'll interview you one day, but we've got to read the book.
Yeah, it's absolutely wonderful.
Cool. Thank you so much for coming in. How will people find you?
Okay, the best way is www.adrianhanks.com, also on Facebook, Adrian Hanks, or just come to Sydney and come visit and say hello.
Go swim in the pool.
Yeah, come swim in the pool.
Cool, thank you so much for coming in today.